Good morning, students. In this video lecture, I am going to discuss the new chapter, that is your biomolecules. Dear student, first of all, what are biomolecules? They are the complex organic compounds which will form our living system. So the living system, they are composed of complex organic biological molecules like your carbohydrate, protein, enzymes, fats, etc. etc. Now the first is your, which is in your course of study, that is your carbohydrate. Basically, carbohydrate and protein, they are the main food products which we use in our food habits. So the first thing is, what are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are defined as polyhydroxy optically active aldehydes or ketones or the compounds which produce such compound after hydrolysis. What does it mean? It means that the carbohydrates have more than one OH group. That's why they are called your polyhydroxy compound. It means they have more than one OH group, hydroxy group. First thing is this. That's why it is called your polyhydroxy compound. The second is they are optically active. You know what does it mean optically active? Means it will show your optical isomerism, either your dextro or your levo. And they must have either aldehyde group or they must have either your ketonic group. So carbohydrates are polyhydroxy optically active aldehydic or ketonic compound, और the compound जिसको आप हाइड्रोलाइज करो तो इस तरह के कंपाउंड आपको मिल जाए। वैसा कंपाउंड जिसको जब आप हाइड्रोलाइज करें तो इस तरह का अगर कंपाउंड दे देता है, then your compound is your carbohydrate. For example, you know, glucose is a very important carbohydrate, fructose, sucrose, your lactose, maltose, etc. etc. They are also known as your saccharide because they are derived from the Greek word saccharon. Saccharon means sugar. So further, as they are also known as your sugar, so carbohydrates are classified into two categories. One is your sugar, another is your non-sugar. One is your sugar, another is your non-sugar. Now what are sugar? They are sweet in taste. They are sweet in taste. Sugars are sweet in taste, while non-sugar, they are not sweet in taste. They are not sweet in taste. So, for example, your sucrose is sugar, your glucose is sugar, your fructose is sugar. However, polysaccharides are non-sugar. Polysaccharides such as your starch, cellulose, they are your non-sugar because they are not sweet in taste. Now, what are the other classification of carbohydrates? Depending on the number of saccharide unit they produce after hydrolysis. They are of three types. Number one is your monosaccharide. Monosaccharide. Number two is your oligosaccharide. Saccharide. And number three is your polysaccharide. Polysaccharide. Now what is your monosaccharide? Monosaccharide, they are the carbohydrates. They are the carbohydrates which will not further undergo, which will not further hydrolyze, which will not further hydrolyze into the simpler unit, which will not further hydrolyze into the simpler unit. Means जिसका further hydrolysis possible नहीं है. For example, your glucose, it has a formula C6H12O6. It means इसको आप further break नहीं कर सकते. Another example is your fructose, which has also a formula like C6H12O6. So these are your monosaccharides. The second is oligosaccharides. Oligosaccharides. They are the carbohydrates, or you can say these on hydrolysis will give 2 to 10. Will give 2 to 10, यानी 2 से लेकर 10 तक 2 to 10 monosaccharides unit. These on hydrolysis will give 2 to 10 monosaccharide units. Minimum 2 and maximum 10. For example, if they will give only 2 units of monosaccharide, then it is called your disaccharide. If they give 3 different monosaccharide units, then it is called your trisaccharide. However, if they give 4 different monosaccharide units, whether all the 4 monosaccharide units are same or different, then it will be your tetrasaccharides. So in this way, from 2 to 10, they are referred as your oligosaccharide. Now, in case of your polysaccharide, in case of polysaccharide, on hydrolysis, it will form more than 20. It will form more than 20 monosaccharide unit. More than 20 monosaccharide units. The very common polysaccharide, that is your starch, and the very common another polysaccharide is your cellulose. The only difference is cellulose are present in your plants, while starch we use as food stuff. having formula C6H10O5 whole N. This N may be more than 20. However, as we have already discussed about your oligosaccharide, let us see an example of your oligosaccharide, that is your disaccharide. एक disaccharide example कर लीजिए. The very common example is your sucrose. Now, this sucrose have formula C12H22O11. The another example is your maltose. It has also a formula C12H22O11. The difference is sucrose on hydrolysis will give glucose and fructose. However, maltose on hydrolysis will give 2 units of glucose. So this is one of the classification of carbohydrates. Another is depending on the basis of your functional group. Based on functional group, they may be your aldose or they may be your ketose. You must have heard like it is aldose sugar and it is your ketose sugar. Carbohydrate having aldehyde group, whether it is monosaccharide or disaccharide, whatever be, then it is called your aldose, and having ketonic group, it is called ketone. For example, glucose is in the category of your aldose because it has aldehyde group, while your fructose it is in the category of ketose because it contains your ketonic group. इसमें ketonic group है इसलिए इसको ketose कहेंगे, इसमें aldehyde group है इसलिए इसको aldose कहेंगे. Further, the carbohydrates, basically the sugars, they are of two types. Number one is your reducing sugar. Number one is your reducing sugar and number two is your non-reducing sugar. Now the question is, what is difference between your reducing sugar and non-reducing sugar? और मान लीजिए आपको कोई पूछ दे कि किसको रिड्यूसिंग शुगर कहते हैं, किसको नॉन रिड्यूसिंग शुगर कहते हैं, तो क्या आप इसका आंसर करेंगे? रिड्यूसिंग शुगर आर दोज which will reduce the Fehling solution, which will reduce the Fehling solution, comma, tolerance reagent, however, which will not reduce, the Fehling solution, which will not reduce the Fehling solution, comma, tolerance reagent, then it is your non-reducing sugar. For example, glucose and fructose, they are your reducing sugar, while sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. तो इस तरीके से भी हम कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स का क्लासिफिकेशन कर लेते हैं. Further, if you see your NCERT textbook, that even aldose or ketose, even your aldose or ketose, they are further classified on the basis of your number of carbon. कहता है कितना नंबर ऑफ कार्बन है, उस बेसिस पर भी, उस आधार पर भी आप एल्डोज और कीटोज को क्लासिफाई कर लेते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ द ग्रुप इज योर aldehyde group and the carbon is only 3 carbon, then it is called your aldotriose. Then it is your aldotriose. If the carbon number is 4, then it is your aldotetrose. If the carbon number is 5, then it is your aldopentose. And if the carbon number is your 6, it is your aldohexose. अगर आप एल्डोहेक्सोज की बात करें, मान लीजिए कोई पूछे कि व्हाट इज एल्डोहेक्सोज। एल्डोहेक्सोज का मतलब हुआ कि वी हैव आवर aldehyde group and there are all together 6 carbon. So this aldohexose very common. क्यों हमने इसका एग्जाम्पल लिया है? Because your glucose with formula C6H12O6, it has an aldehyde group with 6 carbon. देखिए यहाँ 6 carbon है, so it is your aldohexose. However, similarly there will be ketotriose, ketotetrose, ketopentose and ketohexose. Again, your ketohexose is it is your ketohexose. It is again important because with ketonic group and 6 carbon. The example is again C6H12O6. देखिए यहाँ 6 कार्बन है। ठीक है, आप कहेंगे कि कीटोनिक ग्रुप सर दिख नहीं रहा है। We will further discuss when we study the structure of fructose separately in our next video lectures. So in this case it has ketonic group with 6 carbons, so it is your ketohexose, and the example is your fructose. For your information, last but not the least, both the glucose and fructose, they have same molecular formula, but they have different functional group. In one we have aldehyde, another we have ketone. So glucose is aldose, fructose is ketose, your glucose is aldohexose, while your fructose is ketohexose. So I hope this is sufficient about your classification of carbohydrate. In my next video lecture, I will mainly discuss the reactions of glucose. Thank you.